Normally, when I'm doing a Nissan or Infiniti product review, I usually slip in something along the lines of, well, things aren't going very, very well over at Nissan or Infiniti, sales are slumping, models aren't moving. But that's not the case. At least so far for the first half of 2023. I mean, their sales year over year have increased impressively. I mean, most automakers, if not all, with maybe one or two exceptions, the sales are up. Bottom line, as far as that's concerned, Nissan and Infiniti sales are up, except for a few models, which is inevitable. I mean, the Kicks and a Qashqai are two models right now in Canada that are slowing down a fair amount. But look, let's be straight up honest. Anything small SUV in Canada, the competition is so fierce, so heavy, that some losses are inevitable, especially if your model is a little bit older, or doesn't offer the value or the styling or whatnot. The other model that isn't doing very, very well at Nissan right now in Canada is this. This is a 2023 Nissan Frontier, just, obviously you can see it, Pro 4X, the top model. And I think I understand or know why. First, I mean, the Frontier, as you see it now, was updated, heavily updated for the 2022 model year. At least everything you can see and touch, because everything you can't see or touch, well, when you look at it this way anyway, hasn't really changed. I mean, it's the same chassis, or same frame, ladder frame, I should say. But everything else is new. But that has not helped, clearly, Nissan to move more Frontiers. Though it was very hot when it was first initially announced, that has, well, severely cooled off. I mean, year over year, if I'm not mistaken, sales so far are down by 30 or 31%, which is a considerable amount. Now, my theory is that right now, buyers of small trucks, not only do they have more options than, well, over the last 20 years, they've never had more options, but there are two juggernauts in this segment that are soon to be launched in all new forms. One being the Ford Ranger, and the other being the absolute king of the segment, the Toyota Tacoma. I mean, those two models alone, in my mind, are enough to get buyers to say, you know what, let's stretch our 2008 Tacoma another year, or let's keep our Frontier, our 2012 Frontier a little bit longer, whatnot. And those who want something small truck, have already explored the Ford Maverick and probably put their name on the list, because in my opinion, in the segment, if we include everything that's not full size, is probably in my top three, because it really can do a whole bunch of things and be agreeable to drive. And you can always buy a 23 Tacoma, kinda. So, there's your competition for you. So the fact that you can get a Maverick that can do pretty much everything, or that there's a 2024 Tacoma and Ranger on the way, are two of the reasons why this isn't moving anymore, or very, very few are moving compared to, say, a year ago. The other one is that despite Nissan's efforts, now not the aesthetics, Nissan, the Frontier has not evolved with the segment. It still lags behind as far as some driving aspects. So we'll get to that after we do the walk around, because visually, it's still a very attractive pickup. I mean, it offers everything you need it to offer, in the two cab configurations. There's the King cab, which is always so cool, and then the crew cab, which is very useful, obviously, if you got kids like me. And visually, it's kind of nice. Obviously, the Pro 4X is the visual crown jewel of the model. So, well, I guess without further ado, let's do the walk around and then we'll take it for a spin. So as I was saying, I mean, it's a pretty attractive truck, I must say. As noted now repeatedly, this is the Pro 4X, which explains why it's got the front shields and the skid plate and the blacked out grille and a different color logo. This is the different wheels, which are actually kind of nice. There are a few other accessory wheels which are even nicer. It's there's nothing visually wrong with the truck. I mean, could it be a little bit more aggressive? No, I don't think so, because it fits kind of nicely alongside with the Colorado and Canyon. However, having said that, because this is the Pro 4X, maybe it could use, I don't know, a Nismo off-road package, for about $13,000, and people will buy it, with like 35-inch tires and more ground clearance and stuff like that. But I just went totally off script there, but visually it's nice. No complaints, absolutely none. Base price in the US for the base truck, $29,370, and the Pro 4X all-wheel drive or 4x4 is $38,900. I just messed that up because I had no idea there was such thing as a Pro X in the US, which is a two-wheel drive version of this. I thought Pro 4X was the trim. In Canada, very, very different pricing structure. $40,998 for the King Cab S 4x4, which is 4x4 is standard in the country, which makes total sense. And then there's this one, the Pro 4X, $51,748. Very, very much more expensive. In the base King Cab S, you do get an 8-inch display, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, 7-inch digital IP, Sirius satellite radio, and a 2-speed transfer case, obviously, because they're all 4x4. My tester, when you step up to, and the reasons why you step up to the Pro 4X are for the Bilstein dampers, Bilstein skid plates in the front, gas tank and in the middle. There's a 9-inch touchscreen display, navigation, the 17-inch wheels, and the all-terrain tires, wireless Apple CarPlay, and a bunch of LEDs. I mean, again, this is, you're looking at right here, if you add the color, which is Boulder Gray, you're looking at about $52,000 for the truck. It's not completely insane though. I would go with one of there's a blue, a green, and a red, if I'm not mistaken, even a sand color, much nicer than this Boulder. But my truck has the luxury packaged leather and a Fender audio and a bunch of stuff for an extra $2,000. So $54,000 as it stands. Now, however much money that is, it's not totally insane. So as I said, so this is the crew cab, not the King Cab, so that means it's got the 5-foot bed, not the 6-foot bed. I guess we could just do this. Oh, there are flowers in there. My daughter, I guess, was playing in the truck. Yes, I'm carrying a propane tank because that's what you do when you have a pickup. I'll just do a quick tour on the inside. Yeah, so here's, you can see the leather. That's part of the luxury package. I mean, it's very upright, but this is a mid-size SUV pickup, so there's still a reasonable amount of room even for 2 adults. That works out. By the way, this flips up with storage underneath. All right, up front. So a lot of effort went into the presentation, but as I said, it's a Pro 4X, so it's got a bunch of other stuff going on. But look, it's very trucky, but it's nice trucky. I have to admit, it works. Good door bins. I mean, what is that? That's like a 2-liter bottle holder, or what is it? Big, ultra big gulp type thing. So the seat's power operated. This manual lumbar, the little latches or lever is on the side. Actually quite comfortable. Very, very comfortable. Let's slide on board and start it up. Oh, well, while we're here, has your hill descent control, cargo lamp and stuff like that. Let's zoom back out, start it up. So a standard 7-inch display, which is, you can have all kinds of stuff show up there, which is kind of nice. The 9-inch touchscreen display here is very nice too, very straightforward. Nothing special or out of the ordinary when it comes to that, with the menus and how you work them. HVAC controls down here and your important buttons that you need to access. The storage is actually quite nice. There's your wireless charger, storage, no, like that's the storage. I got confused by the pad. Wireless charger, good deep bin. Visibility is actually quite nice, I have to say. You are sitting way upright, so you can see over the mirror. It's not a bad place to be. I mean, there's a lot of familiar older Nissan controls on a steering wheel, but that doesn't matter because they work quite well. But now, let's go for a drive. All right. See, so the thing with driving the Frontier is that, and this is the strange part, because I was at the first drive, the Canadian Regional First Drive event almost 2 years ago. And a lot of emphasis on behalf of Nissan was put onto the refinement, the ride quality, and how much more comfortable the updated Frontier is compared to the outgoing model. I clearly recall being essentially in awe of how refined and comfortable, quiet, serene the Frontier was at the time. And that remains true today. But now that I've had the opportunity to drive, like, the Colorado or the Canyon, and a few other pickups in the meantime, what that has done is kind of knocked down the Frontier a notch or three in the process. Now, definitely, compared to the previous Frontier, it's definitely a lot nicer, I have to admit. But I think what I'm trying to say is that now that the Titan is gone, and obviously this was not the case, but Nissan has tuned the Frontier to feel bigger than it actually is. The steering effort is huge. It feels heavy. It's slow. It's kind of makes me think that Nissan wants you to think that you're driving a big truck. But that's not the case. And as far as ride quality is concerned, it is much nicer than the outgoing model. But I think, and sadly I didn't get to drive an S or an SV or whatever at the time, and I still have a Pro 4X again now. I think the main reason why the drive feels so nice with this, so panicky these systems, huh? Why the drive quality feels so nice is because of the Bilstein dampers. They have like that little upper layer of give or forgiveness that actually allow every road imperfection to be soaked up, and then you have the larger tires which also help with that as well. Now, I did take this off-roading at the first drive launch event, and obviously it can handle just about anything you throw at it. I really feel like adding the following, and this will apply to a Canyon, maybe not to a TRD Pro or a ZR2 or something like that, but if you want to do some mild to medium off-roading, you can always get an Outback Wilderness, or even just a regular Outback. It'll do the job as well. But I don't know why I do these things. It just happens that way. But look, in the city where I'm doing all my driving this week, I'm just noticing that it's not as nice as the Canyon was, and it probably won't be as nice as the next generation Ranger and Tacoma. Though if you take a 23 versus a 23, this is probably better than the other two. In fact, it's a lot better than a Ranger, that is for certain. And now, one of the things that Nissan boasted about quite a bit is the fact that it is currently the most powerful midsize SUV pickup in the segment, with its 3.8 liter V8 that produces 310 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 281 pound-feet of torque, I think at 4,400 RPM. Though that might be true, the thing is that the 3.8 just, it's not happy revving. It doesn't want to climb. I mean, it does, obviously, but it's much happier just, settling below 4,000 and shifting 9 times, until you get to the top gear. So I mean, yeah, it's the most powerful, and it can tow almost 6,500 pounds, which is great, which is fantastic. But it's not rewarding. It's not pleasant. You don't feel like you have a powerful V6, and it's fairly thirsty too. I mean, I haven't checked yet how bad the fuel economy numbers are, but I'm guessing that it's at least 14 liters per 100 kilometers. The AC's been on all week because it's direly, or is that even the word? It's impossibly warm, hot, which I'm not complaining about. And then the steering, brakes are fine. It's not, I think truck buyers at this point in time are not looking for something that really feels like a truck, but is a truck, can do mega truck things without feeling like it can. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but the Canyon, with that turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, it felt monstrously powerful. It was refined, it was nice, and it can tow 7,000 pounds. It can do absolutely everything but it doesn't punish you. Clearly, obviously, if you check on Motor Illustrated, the review, it was a Denali, so maybe a little bit more refined. But then again, it had the 20-inch wheels, which made the ride quality just not quite as cushy as it probably could be. The bottom line is, I don't see any good reason to buy a Frontier unless pricing for the new Tacoma is out of this world, which is likely possible that the base truck will be $45,000 in excess of that, but with a more powerful base engine and a lot more tech and a lot of fancy stuff that you don't get in this. The Ranger will probably be a lot more expensive. So the point is that unless you stick to maybe a base model and Nissan offers discounts, wait it out. There is no way in my mind that you'll regret not waiting for a new Ranger or a Tacoma or looking into a Colorado Canyon, or again, if you're not into trucks but want a truck, the Maverick. The Ridgeline remains very competent in many respects. It can't tow as much as this, but it does almost everything else better. That is it. That is all. I'm out.